Hey, Erie. It's Spotlight 814. We're finally back in the studio. I am your host, Ryan Dolly, and I am here with the one and only Brenna Thumler.
I'm back, everybody.
She's back.
I'm back in the Americas.
In the Americas. From not the Americas. And we have a very special guest in the studio this week. The beautiful Kate Thiem.
Hello.
Hi, Kate.
Hi, Ryan.
How's it going?
Oh, it's going well. We just opened last night.
We did.
You and I.
What did we open?
Beautiful the Musical.
Yeah.
The Carole King Spectacular Extravaganza.
Oh, I like the new name.
We're just going to keep adding to it.
I like the new name.
All the beautiful adjectives. That's at Erie Playhouse
Yes, yes.
right now.
That is. Yeah, so this show is going to be mostly about beautiful. We're going to talk about Carole King and all the songs that you probably had no idea she wrote.
She wrote a lot.
Stuff like that.
Yeah.
And we're going to talk a little bit about the Brothers' Size at Dramashop, which opened last night as well. And next week, I'm going to have Chris Peterson and Isaiah Aldridge on the show. So we're going to talk a little bit about Young Frankenstein and Brothers' Size.
Great.
So we got a lot going on. You have your book signing next week, so you're not going to be here.
Correct. Well, that's at 11 now. What time are you recording?
We could do
Well,
the 10. We'll talk about it.
Okay.
We'll talk about it. So maybe you'll be here. For
Maybe.
A little bit. Cool.
Just bring the microphones to the recording or to the book
I
signing.
would love to do that.
There you go.
I can totally multitask. That's
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I would love to do more remote stuff. We have the capability of doing it. Why not? So Kate,
Ryan.
you're playing Carole King.
I am.
How is that?
It's a lot.
It's a lot.
It's a lot all at once. Yeah, I have to think back. I'm not sure. Well, I mean, there was Evita, but that's a little different.
Mhm.
This is somebody that's been recorded and people are very much familiar with her voice
Right.
and how she sounds and how she looks. So it's been interesting to prepare for this kind of a role. But it's also been nice because there's been a lot that I've been able to access in terms of videos, and I've been reading her memoir, and so that's been really cool. And it's given me a lot of additional insight that I don't know if I would have had.
Yeah.
Were you a big fan of Carole King before this musical?
I wasn't. I was only limitedly familiar with her music. Every now and then, you'd hear a song and be like, oh, I think that's Carole King. Ooh, ding-a-ding-ding.
Ding-a-ding-ding. Get TikTok templates.
But
Dismiss.
yeah. But I would say I'm definitely a fan now,
Yeah.
for sure.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and I think anybody that writes music, anybody that's a composer, I never have been a composer. I've been in music all my life, but I think that I might have written one piano piece when I was like 8 years old.
Yeah.
I bet that's the best thing that's ever been written.
Totally not. Thank you for believing in me. It was called The Triumph. And it was to me, it was very superhero-esque and it was very basic. But that was like the only thing I've ever written. I don't have that gift and I've not ever been compelled to do that. So I think people that do write for themselves are people that can draw. I think people that can draw are amazing because I cannot draw.
But what a great tactic to name a piece of the Triumph. Yes, this will be
The
triumphant.
one and only thing I will have written ever.
Do you have a copy of that?
Oh, you know what? It is probably, if my mom kept it, it's probably at my mother's house in a spiral-bound manuscript
Yeah.
notebook.
Okay.
That would have been it. I think in high school, I started to try to transcribe things, which is just listening to a piece of music and then writing down what you think you hear for specifically musical theater pieces that didn't have books at the time.
Right.
Because back then, it was a different thing. You couldn't get them on Sheet Music Plus or Music
Right.
Notes. You had to wait for the book to come out. And if there was no book, if the show didn't do well, there wasn't a book.
The internet didn't exist. So.
No. So I remember there was a couple things that I would be like, sit down and try to figure out on the piano. But in terms of composing, The Triumph is and was my last and first piece ever.
I want to open the show with the Triumph.
No, you don't.
I really do. I want that to build into this conversation.
It was in the key of C. It was very driving, and I think it might have been a page. I think that was it. There was no words. This was not a sung thing. This was just a piano piece.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you play the piano
Mm-hmm.
in the show.
Mm-hmm.
How has that been with Rhonda Berlin in the pit? You know, she's leading the pit, and you guys have to kind of play together and, feed off of each other. Because if she starts at the wrong time while you're playing and you
Right.
stop,
Yeah.
it's going to be a little
It's-
awkward. How
It's
has
been
that
this. Yeah, it's been this nice process of figuring out how we were going to do it.
Yeah.
Originally, I did some research into it because I had no clue if I was going to be playing live or playing or miming it. So did some research and realized that the Broadway productions, the touring productions, that the girls that are playing Carole don't actually play.
Okay.
They mime it. And they have like a monitor in the piano built in so that they can hear the orchestra. And some of them did have a prior knowledge of how to play piano.
Mhm.
And if you watch them, you can really tell the ones that had some prior knowledge and the ones that were just coached. But like Jessie Mueller and Melissa Benoist, they're great. If you watch them, it looks like they're playing the whole time, but they're actually not.
Yeah.
So I got to a point where I thought, okay, we're not actually going to play because acoustically it might not make sense.
Right.
It might not line up. There might be phasing. And usually in these productions I talked about, the person in the pit playing piano is the one actually playing.
Mhm.
So if you have any kind of mess up, it's not a big deal. The person playing is actually going to be the one that you hear. So we finally, I think we had like they had a production meeting, and it was decided that, yes, I would be playing. And there are only a couple of times where, due to a scene change or a costume change or whatever, that Rhonda takes over and I'm just not at the piano anymore.
Yeah.
So we use a combination. There's actually two pianos I'm playing. There's a digital keyboard I play at the start and the end of the show and in the middle of the show.
Mhm.
Then there's an upright piano that I play most of the time. And we had that tuned, and there's a microphone on that piano. And then, of course, like the keyboard is digital, so it's through the system. But Rhonda and I go way back. I mean, I don't even remember at this point how we met. It's been that long.
Yeah.
But she's been so wonderful because she's a wonderful piano player too. She has her own wonderful studio. She's played for years for ballet classes. She's a wonderful musician. She has a great sense about it. And she's just a really nice person too.
Exactly.
So anytime anything would come up, like, hey, could you maybe play these last couple measures? Yeah, of course. She's just wonderful about it.
Yeah.
But I've had a really interesting time singing and playing at the same time. I don't prefer it.
Right.
I really don't like it. It's like when you play and talk at the same time, I can't do it.
Mm-hmm.
My brain shuts down. I have to think about one thing at a time. So doing this singing and playing, I've really developed a respect for people that not only write their own music, but then sing and play.
Yeah.
Because it's really hard. I think at the start of this, I really wanted to focus on the voice. But then when you add the piano, you have to focus on that too, obviously.
Mhm.
And I have developed a respect for Carole King because of that.
Yeah.
But then also thinking about when you are doing two things at once, still telling the story as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I oddly enough, I think it's helped me worry less about things because you don't have to focus on the one thing and obsess about it. You have to think about the whole thing and all the different things that you're doing at the same time.
It's such a muscle memory, right? Like
It
playing
is.
along with yourself. Have you been rehearsing strictly while you play the piano, or did you rehearse voice and piano separately?
I started memorizing the piano first because I've played since I was like 5.
Mhm.
And I would say going up through high school and even into college, I would still do a lot of memorization for recitals. And I had teachers that were very insistent on that. I'd have to come into piano lessons and they'd say, okay, I asked you to do sectional memory for this piece. So start at section 3. And without like any help, you'd have to sit down and play section 3. Or she'd say, okay, now section 7.
Jeez.
And like, because she was super old school
Yeah.
and she was this little tiny 85-year-old who was maybe 4'10" and would start me every lesson with scales, with technical exercises. If my nails were too long, she'd make me cut them at the bench.
Wow.
And I loved it. Like
Yeah, yeah.
she was phenomenal. She was an amazing piano player herself.
You loved that?
I am really inspired by people like to sit and watch her play. She was the best in our hometown. Like she was extraordinary. And I think I really vibed with growing up with adults that like had such a passion for things.
Mm-hmm.
She was a little scary at times. She absolutely was
Yeah,
terrifying.
this sounds like my worst nightmare as a
Yeah,
kid.
She was a little. Her name was Helga Hulse,
Okay.
which that's also terrifying.
That is a terrifying name.
Try Helga.
Yeah, Helga Hulse, and I would do recitals with her, which was completely memorized, And but here's the thing: going into the show, I haven't memorized anything in years. I haven't had to, because now the nature of what I do with the piano is mostly reading music or sight reading music, playing for choirs, playing for other people. So going into it, I was really terrified that I wasn't going to be able to memorize because I haven't had to.
Right.
I can memorize sung music,
Sure.
but when it gets down to piano, sometimes, you have to, the way that she would prep me, my teacher, was that you'd write down all the fingerings for all the notes. You'd practice things in sections, like I said, or you'd go through like 4 measures and play them. I'd have to play like 4 measures in a row perfectly 3 times. Otherwise, I had to start over.
She slaps you with a ruler.
She didn't slap me. Not that I remember. Maybe I blocked it out. But I just started. Well, first I had to memorize my audition song. Yeah. I wanted to, because I felt if I didn't have it memorized, I wouldn't perform it as well. So I memorized that, and then kind of was emboldened by, okay, I remembered that. Let's go on to the next one. So I just worked my way through slowly. And the nice thing is that most of the time with these songs, because they're so simple, and that's another thing to talk about later, is the quality of the song is so simple that it really speaks to the lyrics. But I would just go through one at a time and just go measure by measure and then try to memorize. And then leading up to probably Tech Week, I would literally once a day play through everything, not even really singing, just making sure the chords, the memory was in my head. Yeah. And then the singing kind of came after it. And then the dialogue and the lines came after that. And I kept finding that throughout rehearsals, I'd memorize something new and then something else would go away. Like, oh crap, now I got to go back and rememorize that song because I've learned more dialogue and that's out of my brain. But luckily I'm not dancing.
You know what though? I came into rehearsals and I was a little late coming into rehearsals, maybe like a week or 2. But like you, Brendan, Kyle, Natalia, you guys all had almost everything memorized already when I got in there. Like you guys were off book and I was like blown away because that early in the process, like we rehearsed for 2 months.
Yeah, we started, this is a funny story. We started like the day after I got back from France and I was really jet lagged.
Yep,
and
I know that feeling.
I knew though, if I didn't have the music part of it memorized first, I didn't want to get it to be mid-August, because we started mid-July. I didn't want it to be mid-August, a month out, and not have the music memorized. Yeah. Because that was going to be such an important part of finding the character and finding the choices. So I really wanted to have that ready. I wouldn't say it was 100% ready that first rehearsal. I remember being on the plane ride to France, trying to memorize lines, and then not touching it the rest of the trip, not even looking at it, and being on the plane ride home going, oh no, I need to do all this over again. It's out of my brain. It's the cheese and the bread have affected my brain. I need to rememorize.
It does that.
But I've never had a show where I've had to play and sing at the same time.
And act.
Yeah. And change clothes 20 times. But
you started as Carole King at what, 16?
16, yeah.
And the show goes all the way up until, how old is she at that point?
She's 28, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah, at Carnegie Hall.
Right.
But we spent so much time with the show that things that I was forgetting in the beginning, we'd get to like Tech Week and I'd forget new things. And I sat down at one rehearsal and I sat down to play a song and I just went, I have no idea what the first word is.
I still forget the name of the club we sing at. So.
The Bitter End. It's appropriately named. Yeah. And that's so terrifying just to sit down and be like, I've got nothing. I don't even know what the second verse is. I don't even know what my name is right now. Yeah. I can play it for you. I just don't know what to sing.
Last night, while I'm waiting for you and Jerry to have your little thing, and he walks away, I'm sitting there talking to Mandy at the piano, and I'm like, what's the name of the club?
Yeah.
And she's like, The Bitter End. And I was like, oh yeah, thanks. I turn around and say the line.
They're not funny times. They're terrifying, but in hindsight, they are funny. So funny because you can spend 3 months with the show, listening to it, absorbing it, and then get out there and you just go blank and there is no hope. I think the one night I combined verses and some of my castmates are giving me grief for it. Yeah. Because I combined the 2 verses and they made absolutely no sense. But at least fine. I recovered.
Nobody in the audience would know.
Yeah. So. Well, that's the thing though. They will.
For Carole King, they will.
100%. And they probably should tell me, and that's fine because I don't want to mess it up.
Yeah. Well, You're killing it.
No,
You're
thanks.
absolutely killing it. It's
And
been
our
a pleasure.
cast is great.
Yes.
We're having so much fun with the cast.
Yeah.
We have a Facebook group chat going,
Mhm.
and it's just I will get home from rehearsal or from shows now, and my husband is also currently in a different show, and he gets
Peeved.
peeved at PACA, and that's supposedly closing this weekend. They may extend. We don't know yet.
I hope they do.
Yeah.
I wrote my review out. It's coming out today.
Yay.
So that'll happen. I did put in there the that Patrick looks like Bob Odenkirk.
I know he was so thrilled with that, and I
Yeah.
was too. I think Bob Odenkirk is great.
He's incredible.
Yeah.
Like his facial expressions when he's on stage during Peeved, it's like looking at Bob.
Oh, that's
it's like
great.
holy shit. Like,
That's a
this-
very specific compliment too.
Yeah.
I really appreciate that.
Yeah.
Because we love comedy. But I mean, let me get back to what I was saying.
Yeah,
'cause
yeah, sorry.
we can talk about comedy 'cause I love comedy too. But I'll get home and he'll already kind of be sleepy because he has to get up. He has to be at work by like 7. And so he'll be kind of falling asleep, and I'll be in bed, not tired, on my phone, looking at this group chat and just going, He's like, what? I'm like, they're just so funny. They're just the funniest people. They're backstage taking pictures with all the props
Yeah.
and having improv photo shoots. And so this is mostly Kyle.
Kyle
plays
and
Barry
Natalia.
Man.
Yeah. It's Kyle and Natalia.
They're so funny and they make me laugh so much. And it's just like that's the part I really love now is now that we've gotten through the tech issues and
We're
figured out
comfortable now,
costumes. We're
yeah.
comfortable, and you can have those little moments where you're just having fun. And
Here's Natalia with Purse Baby.
okay, so first of all, she's gorgeous.
She is.
has,
She's like a pinup model.
She has
here.
perfect skin, yes, and she's very funny. But so I have a baby in the show.
And it's
technically have
possessed.
two. I technically have 2 babies, but we only ever see the one. And it's luckily the baby doll is not that creepy. Sometimes you get baby dolls and they're super creepy.
I
I
beg
don't
to
think
differ.
it's creepy.
I
Listen,
beg to
maybe-
differ.
I think every baby
Louise-
doll is creepy.
Louise is creepy.
Maybe I'm her mother.
She
I don't
moves.
see it.
She moves in the night.
We have these theories that the baby doll is possessed and at night at the Playhouse just gets up and moves things and is playing pranks on people. But
Like-
everybody in the show, I make them kiss the baby before I go on stage with it. It's my little routine.
I've never kissed the baby.
We need to be on stage right.
Well, I don't.
Prior to scene, I don't know, 8 maybe,
I
10.
I might be changing.
That's the other thing is, oh my gosh, these costumes.
So many costume changes.
Ryan Ingram and Crystal have done such a great job with these costumes, and it's so much fun. You have particularly some great costumes,
I do.
great wigs,
I do.
great jeans.
Yeah. What did you say about the one? The one that I said I look like a 40-year-old trying to play Troy Bolton, and then you said,
Oh my god.
I said you're running for governor of Kansas.
was it Kansas or Kentucky?
Kansas.
Okay, I thought it was Kentucky. My bad.
I spent some time in Kansas.
You did.
I
You
know
did.
the people of Kansas.
So that's my Righteous Brothers wig.
Oh, it sounds so good. I wish I could see it. It sounds so good from backstage. And I have to give a lot of credit to Trey, who
Trey,
also
man,
not
yeah.
only does like the Righteous Brothers, but he does Neil Sedaka, he does Bobby V.
Yeah.
And he I think the story was he came into auditions and sang the Bobby V song because it was his grandma's favorite.
Right.
And he really you can tell he's looked up how they sound and he's really done a great job.
He does. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's fantastic. And his range, he's 18.
Mm-hmm.
And his vocal range is crazy. Like he sings high tenor stuff for the Bobby V and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then he comes into the Righteous Brothers and he's like, baby, baby.
Oh my god, it's so great. And and what's weird, not weird, I don't mean to say weird. What's interesting is like 4 years ago when we did Phantom, he was the young Phantom.
Yeah.
So he's singing like in this beautiful soprano range.
Yeah.
And now he's 4 years older, so I don't know if he can do that anymore.
Yeah.
But he probably can.
He probably
I
could.
don't doubt it.
Yeah. He's been fantastic to work with.
Well, on that note, do you two have a favorite Carole King song from the musical?
Ooh.
Because they're not all Carole King songs.
No.
Oh no.
No.
Some of them are Carole King and Jerry Goffin, who was her husband, and that's played by Brendan. He's wonderful. Some of them are Cynthia Weil and Barry Mann, who were friends with Carole and Jerry, and they had this wonderful sort of like friendship competition that went on, that they would compete week by week, working side by side each other to see who could get the next #1 song, who could have a hit. And it was a friendly rivalry. They hung out.
Healthy relationship.
They
Yeah.
did. They would go to the movies. They would have dinner together.
They played strip poker once.
Yeah, I haven't figured out
if that
if
Is
that's
that
the
a
actual
musical?
story. It is.
It is.
It is. We don't really get to. It doesn't carry on for very long.
Okay.
I think one article of clothing is removed. But they, in her memoir, she was like, we would go to the movies with them. We would go to dinner with them. And, it was a very sweet relationship. And they turned out as many songs as Carole and Jerry did.
Yeah.
You Lost That Love and Feeling on Broadway. I mean, you go into the musical and you leave thinking, I never knew that these 4 people were responsible for these many songs.
Exactly. I would say my favorite. That's so tough because like the styles are so different too.
Mm-hmm.
Up on the Roof is a great song. Up on the
Yeah.
Roof.
The woof. Oh, our wonderful accents for the show.
I love it.
Anytime, so because we're speaking with Brooklyn accents, New York accents, sometimes, and I find this too, the R's tend to sway towards W sounds.
Yeah.
And poor Brendan, the one night, he has to say the line, "I love the woof." I
The
love the
roof.
roof. I already did it. And he came out and it sounded like he said, "I love the woof." And it makes sense when you see the show, so I won't spoil that. But
Yeah.
now we've absolutely just
We have
like
stickers and
ragged on
everything.
him. I made stickers for his birthday that said "I love the woof." And it's hard. I think when I say to you the word normal,
Mhm.
I have to really concentrate. I'm just a normal person.
It's great. God, what? Okay, I'm trying to think of the songs in the show. Beautiful, obviously.
I love that one. I love playing it. It's upbeat and I can get into it. I really love playing like the Triumph that I wrote in when I was 8.
Triumph.
It was very triumphant, and that's how I feel about Beautiful. And it's just fun. Like at that point, she's not sad anymore.
Yeah.
She can have a good time.
Will You Still Love Me Tomorrow?
I like that
love
one.
that song.
I actually really like 2 songs that I don't have anything to do with in the show. I love the duet between Kyle and Natalia.
I love that song too.
The and Walking in the Rain.
Yep.
That one.
Yep.
And I also love his rock song.
Mhm.
Oh my God, he sounds so good singing it. And I have every night I just sit back and just smile because he's so good.
His voice is insane.
it's
and
crazy.
He's always so worried about it. I'm like, dude, you sound great. Stop.
Mhm. Oh, I know, but isn't that all of
It's
us?
all of us.
though?
It
We
is.
like go off
It
and we're
is.
like, I was flat, wasn't I flat? And you're
Yeah.
like, I don't know what you're talking about. You sound great. That's everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody has that, but no, he sounds wonderful.
He's incredible. The cast as a whole,
Mhm.
like the show came together so well, and I'm so excited for it. I'm so
It's-
excited for people to see it.
It was a
because
heavy tech show.
It was.
Oh my gosh.
It was.
Yeah.
Those set pieces in the back are not easy to move, and
And you're gonna come and you're gonna see it. You're gonna go, there's 3 walls. What was so bad about that? Well, there's 22 scenes in Act 1 alone.
yeah,
And I think every scene, the
Has to
walls
change.
move. There's 2 couches backstage.
two
There's
pianos,
there's 2 pianos.
3 pianos, really.
Well, yeah, 3. They hide the one during the show. And just a bevy of other things that have to be moved. The walls flip. Sometimes they're the soundstage walls. Sometimes there's platforms and stairs behind it, and it's very involved.
Yeah. Alex and I have to move one of them, and we are 2 of the smallest people in the show, so it takes us a little longer.
And Alex, oh my God, Alex is such a find. He's one of our
He's
drifters.
a gem.
And his voice is amazing. Wait till you hear it. It's so good.
He's got the voice of an angel.
Truly.
Love it. Yeah. Do you have any questions for us, Brenda? We're
I
just
think I
talking.
pretty much asked everything. Wait, let me check my paper here. I guess the only thing other than what's already been talked about is like the favorite part of working on the show. Like, what's been the best part of working on this musical?
Oh, I think I was thinking about this the other day because I love playing piano, and it's been something that's been a part of my life for so long. And it's like the best gift my mom could have given to me by letting me take piano lessons, because it has been I've kept playing throughout my entire life in different ways. So it's cool to be able to do that. But it's way cooler I have friends in this show that I've been friends with since I wouldn't say since I started. Well, maybe that's actually probably a more valid statement. Since I started at the Playhouse, and friends that I spend a lot of time with outside of the theater as well, like people I see socially. And it's just really cool to have people that you just trust so much on stage that you feel like you can try things. You feel like if anything happens, they've got your back. And that's like the best part of doing community theater is to have people that you live your life with outside the theater and then on stage as well. And to have these just wonderful experiences to share with them is priceless. That's like the best part.
I agree.
Were
completely.
you one of the kids who hated practicing piano? Or
No.
Oh,
No, I loved. Well,
that's
here,
so strange.
let me like explain because okay, so my family, and when I say my family, I mean like it was my mom, dad, and I. I was the only child, and then I had a set of wonderful grandparents, and then like my aunt and uncle and their children who were significantly older than me, like 25 years older. I came along late in life, and God bless my mother because anytime I would say like, "Hey, I think I want to try soccer," she'd be like, "Absolutely, let's do it." Or I want to play the piano. Absolutely, let's do it. Nobody in my family is really musical.
Okay.
Like maybe a cousin played snare drum in the band in high school, but then didn't continue with it. Or maybe my other grandmother sang in the church choir, but like that. Nobody actually like went into it. There's a lot of people in my family that are in the medical field, and there's a couple people that were teachers, and I was a teacher at one point. But nobody was really like around me that was actively doing music, which makes it all the more strange because I don't know why. I said to her, my mom tells the story. I don't remember it. I was young. I was 3. And I don't know why I said it. I have no clue. But I loved practicing. And I would stay up like 11, 12 o'clock at night practicing. I have never had an issue.
It's probably because you're a cilantro lover.
Probably. There's something wrong with me in my brain. But just to clarify, I don't like black licorice. I don't like IPA. So there's that. But I know I do like
just
basil.
Half crazy.
I'm just a little crazy, but no. And the same thing would go for singing. Like I would just stay up and practice. And my mom would come down and be like, it's late. You should probably go to bed. It's getting kind of loud. I'm like, I know. I just need to finish this section. But no, I love practicing.
See, I played piano since I was probably about 4 or 5, and I hated practicing. But my parents always forced me, and they're like, "You're going to be happy one day."
See, when you're forced to do it, you don't want to do it.
Yeah,
that's
but
I think that's the thing.
But now I'm like, okay, they were right because
Yeah.
I'm glad that they forced me to do it because I still play. So,
yeah, that's awesome. And it's something like ballet where I think you need to start it early.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Because if you try to get into it when you're like 10, there's no way. You've lost that flexibility that you need. And let's add the ballerinas to the list of people I think are great. People that draw, people that do ballet, and people that write music, I think are amazing.
So you're just describing Brenna right
Perfect.
now.
Oh, we can be friends. Yay.
She does all of those
Really?
things.
Oh, my God.
Have you seen her books?
I have seen on Facebook because the social media game is strong. It's very good.
Very strong.
That, there's lots of book signings going on that you draw. It's about ghosts. There's 3 in the series.
Yes, that is true.
Yeah.
I think if I had one regret, I'd go back and take ballet.
Yeah.
Because I love watching people that can do ballet. I think it's so beautiful. And the athleticism needed for that. It's a sport, basically. I mean, there's no score, but they're just
the best kind of sport.
They're just amazing. And I don't think people really understand the strength that you need to lift your leg above your hip.
Yeah.
Try it sometime when you're home.
I can barely lift my leg up to get into bed. So you have a show with WQLN.
I do, with my husband.
Yeah, and I have another show with WQLN.
You do.
And we were recording Lake Erie Ballet for the Nutcracker as a Christmas special, and we filmed it on the Brig Niagara. We filmed in some incredible places.
Was this the one that they updated to be modern?
Yes.
Kind of.
Sort of.
Yeah.
But we filmed in several different locations, but everywhere we were filming, like, these dancers are insane.
Mm-hmm.
Insane.
Mm-hmm.
I can't wait for everybody to see the final product. It's going to be really cool.
That's awesome.
But we're going to talk a little more about your show with Pat.
Cool.
When we come back, we're going to take a little break, eat our little sandwiches, and have some coffee. And we will be back to talk more about Beautiful. We're going to talk about your show on WQLN. And we are going to talk about the Brother Size.
At Dramashop.
So we will be right back. Welcome back to Spotlight 814. We got Kate Thiem in the house.
Hello.
And we just had some McDonald's,
We're feeling fine on a Saturday morning.
coffee, feeling good, talked about some pop culture. What a
Yeah.
day. What a day. What a time to be alive. Cilantro.
Herbs.
Yeah.
It's been great.
What a time
What's
to be
your
alive.
favorite herb, Brian?
Oh, I don't know.
Can I just shout out dill real quick?
Dill's
I
good.
love dill.
Dill's, it's, yeah, I don't hate dill.
Growing up, my favorite snack, and again, I know this might make me weird, but you already think I'm weird because I like cilantro, was carrots and dill dip.
I'm right with you. I'm
Carrots?
totally with you
Thank
there.
you.
I'm totally with you.
Yay.
I ate those all. I still do. I love it.
Those and Little Debbie's. Not together.
Together?
Not
I was-
together. But so this is like a product of growing up. I call the Swiss cake rolls Little Debbie's. I know Little Debbie is the company, but for some reason growing up, I called them Little Debbie's.
Okay.
It's just another insight into what makes me tick.
Mint. You can't go wrong with mint.
Oh, yes, you can in every possible way.
Oh no.
I know-
Mint and
I know
feta
she
and
hates
watermelon.
Okay.
It's a great
Oh,
combination.
no, you're just getting worse.
Did I say feta? Did that upset you?
Feta's good.
Okay. I love cheese.
I love thyme.
Thyme?
Chives.
Yes.
Chives is the right answer.
I love chives.
Chives are okay. I don't hate chives. I can jive with chives.
I put chives in as much as I can.
I jive with chives.
Whenever I put a bay leaf in anything, Patrick's like, if you eat it, you'll die. That's why whenever you make a stew and it goes missing, you're like, oh no, someone's
Yeah.
going to die tonight.
Where's the one bay leaf?
This has really gone off the rails.
It has,
hasn't
yeah.
in a good way.
We tend to do that here in with Idiotville and everything. It's kind of what we do. And Brenna's here to
I reel it in.
reel it
I
back
can
in.
see that. You're kind of. Do you listen to the Conan O'Brien podcast?
I have. Yeah.
You're kind of Soma.
Yeah.
'Cause she always brings him back, and
No,
the
she has
guests
to,
back.
yeah.
So let's talk about the brother size.
Okay.
Or are we still talking about?
We'll go back to Beautiful. We'll go back to Beautiful and the show on
Wrap it up.
WQLN to wrap it
At
up.
the end?
So
Okay,
we'll
cool.
talk brother size now. And
Okay, because I have
so
some things to say.
Brenna's got some things.
Okay.
I have my facts.
I can just
I'm
provide
back with
sound
facts.
effects 'cause I
Yeah.
haven't seen it yet because we're running concurrently.
Same.
So everything that I have is based purely on what I found online because I too have yet to see it. But just to give you guys an overview, because this is a new show and very many people are unfamiliar with it. So basically, The Brother Size is a play written by Terrell Alvin McCraney, who is the writer of Moonlight, which won an Oscar.
Okay.
Oh, very famously.
Yes.
Right. Yes.
So this is a prolific writer here. It celebrates Yoruba culture. So it's very based in African tradition.
Mhm.
And it was actually based on a poem that he read that says, it was what did he say? Ogun's brother is missing and Ogun builds tools to find him. That was it was a 2-line poem. And so he kind of based this whole story on the idea of a brother having a lost brother.
Mhm.
And Terrell himself, his brother was in prison and he had to sort of deal with the aftermath of that. So it talks a lot about the institutional prison system and how that affects families. And he had a really great line. He said, I just wanted to look at the intimate, nuanced moments of what these people who are in this tight relationship do in response to that system. So that's kind of an overview of what the play is about.
Yeah.
And obviously very important and really cool that it celebrates African tradition.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I guess they sold out last night.
Mhm.
Yeah.
The audience was incredible for it. I heard the show was fantastic.
Yeah. Sean
It's-
Clerkin said it was the best play he's seen in years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's starring Nicholas Gore, Aaron Holman, Isaiah Aldridge, who will be on the show next week, Sakari Thomas, and AJ Holman. And I really hope we get a chance to see it.
Yeah, I know.
Through a brush up or something.
That'd be nice.
I know Anna McJunkin has been talking about possibly doing that for us.
Oh, cool.
So that would be awesome because we won't get a chance to see it otherwise.
Yeah.
And I'll probably be going next weekend, so
Okay.
I'll be able to say some things.
Aaron Holman's one of my favorite people
Yeah.
ever. He gives the best hugs.
You gotta love a good hugger.
He's a triple threat.
I
He's
love
great.
Good huggers. Good huggers are my favorite people. I'm really looking forward to seeing that. Hopefully, and if not, reading your review of it and
Yeah.
hearing you talk.
Yeah,
about
for
it.
sure. It was one of the first plays that Terrell Alvin McCraney wrote.
Okay.
He wrote it when he was like maybe probably a senior, I think he said, at DePaul University in Chicago. So
Nice.
Wow.
it's a young guy.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
Yeah, and Isaiah's going to be on the show next week. He's done a lot at the Playhouse. He was in Elf.
Mhm.
I don't know Isaiah.
I have limited knowledge of him as well,
Yeah.
just passing here and there, but he seems like a very nice young man.
Yeah.
He's very pleasant,
Yeah.
very, very friendly.
And Chris Peterson is going to be on, and he's playing the monster in Young Frankenstein, and he'll be fantastic in that.
He's got a good grunt.
Very
I
good
thi-
grunt.
yeah.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to seeing all of that. There's a lot of theater coming up in October.
I have everything coming up. Should I do
let's
that
go,
now?
Let's go into that. We'll do what's on 814.
Okay.
And,
Do you want background music?
Yeah,
Okay,
give me
go
a
ahead,
little.
go
Give me a
ahead.
little. Okay.
It's gonna be
you're-
like
you're gonna
very,
feed me in?
very Muzak. Go
Great,
ahead.
great. Okay. So, at the Academy Theater in Meadville, there's Young Frankenstein, and that's running October 6th through the 22nd. At the Meadville Community Theater, it's Evil Dead, October 13th through the 22nd. Just stop popping your lip. At Dramashop, as we've been saying, The Brother Size. That's September 15th through October 1st. This is insane. This is driving me crazy. I'm canceling.
You asked for this.
That was an impressive water drop.
Thank you.
Okay. So, okay, yeah. Erie Playhouse. We've been talking about Beautiful, obviously.
Mhm.
That is running September 15th through October 1st. At PACA here in Erie, there's Peeved. This is, okay, I have final weekend written down, but as we mentioned, there might be a possible extension. We will see.
They don't even know yet.
Okay.
Don't they close
Um,
tomorrow?
They're supposed to technically close tomorrow, but
Yeah.
they have not been told whether or
Right.
not they're going to extend.
Okay, I hope they do. I thought it was a really good show.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And
Yeah.
this is like the fourth time they've done it in like the span of 20 years.
Yeah.
And it's been updated and they've added some more modern scenes to it.
What did I write in my review about the laughter? Because
That are the night that we went, everybody just, I think they made the show 10 minutes longer with the laughter.
It was insane. It was insane. Oh God, I wrote something really good for it though.
So you might still have a chance to go see it.
You might.
If you sat in the triangle of sound that I did, I was surrounded by 3 people, and they shall remain nameless, who have maybe the most recognizable and boisterous laughs.
I
in
named
Erie.
one of them in the review. I bet you can guess who.
I think I can guess. I won't give it away.
Let's see. Okay, I said I attended the jam-packed opening night performance, and the crowd didn't stop laughing for a second. And I'm not just talking about regular laughter. I'm talking belly laughs, snort laughs, wheezing laughs. Brandon. And who knows what other bodily functions I missed.
Oh my
But, like,
gosh.
I heard Brendan.
Brendan has, well, he has one of the lowest voices in Erie County.
Yeah.
But when you get him laughing, his voice is the highest in Erie County. It's a really impressive vocal range. But we always say backstage, like, we try to break Brendan, not break like on stage, but like we break him because he's broken.
Yeah.
When something's very funny, he like bends over
And he'll wheeze.
and his hands on his knees, and it's silence, and then he comes up for air, and then it's this high pitched laugh. So I've now taken to try to make an impersonation of him doing it, but it's a whole physical. You have to see me do it.
It is
to
a
really
thing.
understand.
It's a whole thing.
It's a whole thing. But getting him to do that, if you've ever broke Brendan, it's quite the accomplishment.
It really
you
is.
feel very accomplished. Yeah.
It's fun.
So that's Peeved.
Peeved. Go see Peeved.
That wasn't. Well, that's Brendan. But yeah, and he's
That's the
also in
response to
Beautiful.
Peeved.
Yeah, that's the response to Peeved. It was a really great opening night.
Mhm.
It's a smaller theater, so I think it seats about 40. But then they did have overflow, and apparently last night the overflow was full.
Oh, good.
So they had to turn away people.
Okay.
Oh wow. That's
I know, it's fun.
I'm willing to bet $5 that they'll extend.
We'll see. Yeah, I'd like him to come see our show at some point.
Yeah,
my
that'd be
husband.
nice. That'd be nice. Well, if they extend, it's only one weekend, right?
It is. Yeah, he could come to our final weekend. And my mother was there last night, and my dad, and then my mother is ushering tonight.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, she comes to as many as she can. It's very sweet.
That's
Mhm.
awesome. Carry on.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
we detoured.
so All in Act Theater, The Cat and the Canary
Mhm.
is coming up September 29th through October 15th. Station Dinner Theater is doing a Canterbury Feast from September 23rd through November 18th.
It's a long run.
It's a long time, but it's like medieval musical.
They have
Mhm.
their first read through, I think, Sunday, and then they won't see each
Oh no,
other.
that's different. There's
Oh,
two.
that's two.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there's
I was
the
talking to Bob.
The Canterbury Feast is at the station,
Right.
and they have two casts,
Yeah.
which I don't think I could do a run that long
No.
unless it was like the perfect show. But I give them a lot of credit for having that longevity.
Mhm.
And then the Medieval Feast is out at Peak and Peak, and that's the
Right.
one we're having our first rehearsal on Sunday night.
So you're in that one.
I'm in that
okay.
one, yeah. First read through, and then we get back together at middle October, and we go up the 2 weekends before Thanksgiving.
Awesome.
Mhm.
Awesome.
Is Nate Urban doing that? Isn't he?
I think so. So
Okay,
he's
yeah.
I think he's our new guy. I
He's
have
in
not
that?
met him yet.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
I think he was in Rocky Horror.
Yeah.
and Rent.
Yeah.
So
Nate.
he's in the show this year. Have not met him. Looking forward to it.
He's a very strong man.
Oh, good.
Very, very strong.
I think I'm actually so in the feast. It's a very simple formula. You know, there's not usually a plot. There's just a lot of really fun songs that Bob Martin has rewritten
Mhm.
because Bob Martin is like one of the funniest people I've ever met.
Yeah.
And there's usually pairings, so guy with girl pairings, and there's love stories, sort of loosely. I think I'm paired with Nate in this year's show.
He is gonna fall in love with you.
Oh boy.
It's what he did to Devin. He fell in
Oh,
love with Devin
okay.
Yates, and
Okay.
he was her little lapdog during Rent. So
That's fine.
So look forward to that.
yeah.
I have dogs. I don't need another dog.
Okay.
But and I'm married.
Yeah.
So they're you know.
He'll
just as-
he'll still be like, I want a hug. I want a hug. And
Okay,
he'll be-
we
he-
talked about good hugs. That's fine.
Good hugs. yeah.
Hugs are good.
He's a good hugger. He
Excellent.
Nate loves me too.
Yeah, but
So-
again, if you have never had an Aaron Holman hug, you're missing out.
I've
He's the
not.
best.
I've not. I'm gonna have to get one of those.
I have one more.
one more.
One more. I'm trying to get through these as hard as I can, people. Okay. The last one is the Gannon Schuster Theater, and they're doing Rabbit Hole,
Yeah.
and that's September 28th through October 7th.
I love that show. That's a good one.
I'm not
So-
familiar with it.
I've read it. It's very good.
Yeah.
So
Now we are done.
No done.
That is everything.
Thank you,
That's what's on
Brenna.
anyone for.
Cue the triumph.
all right. Let's talk a little bit about your show on WQLN with
Okay.
your husband Patrick. What is it?
What is it? It's a show called Ghostlight Musical Theater After Hours, the subtitle. And we were approached back in May by Brian Hanna, who was saying that they had an open spot and they were really looking to develop some sort of musical theater podcast. Not podcast, it's a show.
Yeah.
Podcast is available to download. This is different.
It is on the air.
It's on the air, 2-hour show, which our shows would skew long when we record our podcast years ago. But this was a 2-hour show, and it was from the get-go. They said, we really want this to be 85% music. It's really not you talking for 2 hours. It's you introducing songs and
Right.
listening to songs. So that really took that initial like, oh my God, how can we develop a 2-hour show? Well, it's really truly 85% music. And so we sort of brainstormed, and really it's a very simple premise. It's just that we are there every week talking about either a specific show and we play all the music from it, or we have some sort of gimmick like one episode coming up in the future is going to be the best songs from the worst flops,
Nice.
because there's plenty of things out there to listen to. So like we'll do an episode like that.
Please
and
tell
then
me you're gonna have at least one song from Wild Horns Dracula.
Yes. Oh yeah,
Yes.
yeah. Because that's actually how the conversation got started. I try to, when I'm planning the episodes out, I try to have a through line. So our first episode was not. It was unto itself. It was the musicals of France because we had just gotten back, and
Yeah.
Brian said, "Why don't you do something about France?" But then we went to Jekyll and Hyde, which was like the show that got me interested in musical theater. And then we went to Wonderland, which was also Frank Wildhorn.
Yeah.
And then from Wonderland, we're doing next is Legally Blonde because Kate Schindel was in Wonderland and she's
Mm.
also in Legally Blonde.
Okay.
So I'm trying to like tie things
Tie 'em
together.
Yeah, yeah.
And every now and then we'll have an episode that's not tied in, but that's
Yeah.
what I'd like to do.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Um,
So yeah, we're listening to music, we're talking about music, talking about the singers you're hearing, the histories of the production. We played a game this week with the one that we recorded. We're gonna have more games because we like to laugh. And it's Sunday nights at 9 p.m. on WQLN 91.3 FM. Or if you go to their website on that Tuesday, you can stream it. And they have like a little mini player at the bottom of their website.
So you can only stream it on Tuesday?
It's available to stream
Okay.
by Tuesday.
Gotcha,
Yeah. And there
gotcha.
is an RSS feed, but you can only access one episode at a time.
Okay.
Mostly due to the constraints of copyright.
Right.
Because we are playing tons of songs and tons of music. But it's a good time. And what I like to do too is if there's a show like Jekyll and Hyde, is that there's going to also be like concept recordings or revival recordings. And we like to share a little bit from each to show different singers and performers.
There were so many concepts for Jekyll and Hyde. So many.
There was.
That one with Constantine was interesting.
That, yeah.
Because that was more of like a rock.
It really was.
Version.
Very riffy.
Yeah,
This
way
is the
too
moment was not quite
No,
what you would recognize.
this was 2 moments.
It was many
this
moments.
was many moments.
So many moments. And then there was the one with Sebastian Bach, and he like took over from Hasselhoff.
He was-
It's
There are some-
every Wild Horn musical has such a dramatic backstory
Yeah.
of all the rewrites. Wonderland is the same, and that's coming up. We're
I don't
recording
know
this
Wonderland.
On Sunday
I
tomorrow.
need to listen to Wonderland. I've been meaning to do that.
It is a terrible plot.
Yeah, I mean, all of his shows are terrible plots.
Yeah,
They're all terrible books.
yeah.
The
They've been
music is
rewritten
great.
tons of times.
Yeah,
Pimpernel was great. I did
Yeah.
Pimpernel in high school, and that was like a perfect show, I think, because it's funny, it's romantic, it's adventurous. There's lots of great costumes. The music's wonderful, but just not wildly done.
I did Dracula.
Did you do it?
I did it at Roxy Regional Theater in Clarksville, Tennessee, and it was the worst thing I've ever been a part of.
I saw that on Broadway, and I don't remember anything about it.
Yeah, I try to black it out of my memory because it was so bad. But I played Renfield.
See,
And-
I don't remember a single thing. It was one of those bus tours that David Matthews did way back in the day,
Yep.
and it, yeah, I couldn't tell you a single thing except it was really dark.
Yeah.
The lighting,
Yeah.
not the thematical content.
Yeah, it's not a great show.
Yep.
Really not at all.
Nope.
But that's right on brand with Wildhorn.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Unfortunately,
the music can be fantastic at times in the show, and then the show itself is just like
yeah, it's and we talk about that in the Wonderland episode. We just go through like all the problems it faced, and then as we're listening to the music, you can sort of even see in the musical selections that it was a very confused show.
yeah.
But like 3 or 4 really great songs.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's always like 3 or 4
Mhm,
really great ones in his shows. Yeah, I could talk about
I know.
Wildhorn forever. Let's get back into Beautiful a little bit before we wrap it up, because you are Carole King.
I am.
You are
I'm Carole Klein King. Yes.
Carole King King. So let's see. Let's talk a little bit more about the rest of the cast.
Yes.
And let's give them their props. And Emily as director.
Director, yeah.
And Zach as assistant director. Like it's a solid team.
It's a very solid team. Yeah. Emily's my best friend, and it's been really great to share this with her. It's again the whole trust thing.
Mhm.
I have no doubt whatsoever that both she and Zach have my back
Yeah.
at all times, and I really like getting notes because I absolutely trust their opinion, and I if something's not looking right or sounding right or whatever, I love getting insight of what they think about a character and how it's what I'm doing, how they're perceiving it, because I think sometimes you think like you're doing it a certain way, and then your director will be like, no, you're actually doing it this. Like the other night we got the note. It's like, you're supposed to say this line to Nick. I'm like, aren't I doing that? No, it's not coming out across that way. So we changed it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really enjoyed that conversation of talking about motivation and stuff like that.
All right, we're back. We had some technical difficulties. Brenna pointed some things out, and she was right. But we are back on track now. Notes.
Notes. I love getting notes. I love talking about the characters.
Yeah.
And yeah, I love that stuff.
And developing, like I play Nick, who isn't a real person, it turns out.
He's sort of based on her next husband.
Yeah. So
She's had 4.
yeah. So he's actually based on Charles Larkey,
Mm-hmm.
who is her second husband. And
Mhm.
they had 2 kids together.
Molly and Levi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's a mix of Charles Larkey and James Taylor,
Mm-hmm.
who they collaborated for 20 years together.
They did, and she talks a little bit about that friendship when she first met him, and he had a drug problem
Oh yeah.
when she first met him, and then later on in the book she discusses how when he got clean, and then they started to work together. So
Yeah.
it's really interesting.
So in the second act, I have my Tarzan wig on.
You totally do.
And our relationship starts to develop in the show,
Mhm.
which is cool. As all that stuff is happening with Jerry, and he's losing his mind.
Mm-hmm. Literally.
Yeah. But it's crazy, the number of costume changes and stuff like that, and the people in the cast that play so many different characters. I mean, we have our drifters,
Oh, they're wonderful.
who are they're knocking it out of the park. We have our lovely Shirelles.
They got a really great response last night.
Really
great response.
Yeah. Jade is incredible.
Yeah. She went to high school with my stepdaughters.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
So when I would go and play for their productions, they would always be performing together. So it's
Yeah.
cool to see her back, and now she's on the news.
Yeah.
It's really neat.
Yeah. Let's see. I also play Robert Lee Hadfield of the Righteous Brothers and Dave Somerville of the Diamonds.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah. I just learned his name today.
Nice. Great. Me too. Sure. Yeah.
Because in the script it just says lead diamond.
Lead. Yeah. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I remember seeing that now in the libretto.
And then I play a guy named Guy who sings Bebopalula.
I think that's my favorite part.
I love that too.
Because it's they're making fun of the fact that these songs in the 60s were very repetitive.
And they're very
And simple.
simple. Yeah.
And so the Bebopalula, it just keeps repeating over and over again. And then Brandon, who plays Donnie Kirshner, who's so funny,
Yeah, he's great.
is like, that's perfect. I'll take that song. I'll pay you for it. It's
What's he say? He says,
dolphin could write
a
it.
dolphin could write it. So simple, a dolphin could write it.
He's so funny. He's so funny.
I'll
And
take it.
I'm so happy that he gets a part like this because Brandon is known for his wonderful tenor voice.
Yes.
Like one of the best voices in Erie. And he's so funny in
Yeah.
this role. It's mostly a spoken role. He
Yeah.
doesn't get to sing a ton. He does get to sing a little bit in like the 1650 medley.
Mhm.
But this is really a comedic role for him.
And then
he's
You Got a Friend.
so funny. Oh God, he steals that song and I'm fine with it. He
Yeah.
can steal it away as much as he wants. He's so funny.
Did you know You Got a Friend? I learned this today too. You Got a Friend is in response to James Taylor's Fire and Rain.
I also love that song.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Because my husband is a little bit older than me, so our musical tastes are very different. But he's always playing me some of the stuff he grew up with, which has been really nice.
Fire and
so-
Rain is one of my favorite songs of all time.
Yeah, I love James Taylor.
Beautiful song.
Very easy to listen to, nice to have a bottle of wine with kind of music.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And that song is so sad. It's about his friend who committed suicide.
Oh,
And there's the line in there like something about having a friend, not finding a friend is the line. And Carole King wrote "You've Got a Friend" in response to that.
very sweet.
So that's
There's no
pretty cool.
James Taylor in our show, though.
There is not.
Unfortunately,
I
that would
guess
have been cool.
I guess I am the James Taylor
Esque.
character.
Yeah.
But
yeah, very much.
yeah. So that's the show.
In a nutshell.
In a nutshell, there's so many songs that you guys are gonna know, and you're not even gonna realize, like these people wrote them, like Carole King.
Yeah. No.
And Barry Mann and Cynthia Weil. Like,
And then there is a little snippet in the entr'acte of the where you lead I will follow, which
Mhm.
is iconically the Gilmore Girls theme song.
We could have an entire show. I'm rewatching Gilmore Girls now for like the 20th time.
Yeah.
Because it's fall.
So I have friends that are doing the same exact thing right now.
And Carole King appeared.
She does. She
in
she
Gilmore
okay.
Girls.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, in the first and then she comes back in for the Gilmore Girls in the Life and sings
Yeah.
Feel the Earth Move Under My Feet.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
That's another show.
Don't get me started on Gilmore Girls. It's my entire life.
I have a friend that named her cat Rory because of that. Well, it was Lorelai, but Rory, yeah.
Okay. Rory bugs me, but
The character, not the cat.
Oh no, the cat. Yeah, I'm sure
Yeah.
the cat is perfect in every way. Okay, sorry.
Okay.
We can get back to talking about Beautiful
We
now.
absolutely had like a sidebar during the break about all things pop culture and shows
did.
that we're watching and need to watch. So we could have done a whole other hour with that.
We could have. That would be great Patreon content.
Patreon, yeah.
Yeah, we are going to start our Patreon up very soon. We've been talking about it since we started the show.
I feel like our Patreon should be only talking about Gilmore Girls. Like,
You could do that, offer that. I mean, I know 3 people at least on that would probably pay for it. 'Cause they
I wouldn't be a part of it though.
I can just talk about Gilmore Girls for
I
hours.
know. Kate, is there anything else you'd like to say that we missed
before our next 3 hours of recording.
Yeah,
I'm having a good time. I don't want to go.
I know, I don't either. But
Yeah.
our time's almost up here.
Let's see what else. Who haven't we talked about in the show? That's wonderful.
Oh man,
There's many people. Well, I mentioned Brendan, and he's the one I spend most of my time with on stage, and
Yeah.
he's absolutely wonderful in this role, and
he's fantastic.
he's like, oh god, there are times that even now in the show, now that it's open,
Mhm.
he finds new moments and surprises me
Yeah,
with the emotion behind it, and I
he
think
will
that's
rip your heart
so
out.
wonderful as
Yeah.
an actor when somebody else you're acting with does something different or finds new emotion, and then it makes you react like so much differently.
Mhm. And it's such a genuine reaction too.
It is because
Yeah.
he's my friend too,
Yeah.
and like last night he gets very emotional in the penultimate scene when he wishes Carole good luck, and he got like really teary, and I'm like, oh, please don't cry. Like I wanted to say, please don't cry,
Yeah.
please stop crying, but like I couldn't. But
Right.
like then you react differently to it, and it's just I love that kind of stuff. Now
Yeah.
that we're relaxed a little bit more, that we can find those new moments.
Yeah.
And,
And like I heard Kyle find new moments last night,
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
and Natalia found moments last night, and like there were just so many new moments that happened last night.
There were.
Opening night.
Yeah, I agree. And she's someone that I didn't know prior to the show. She was one of Emily's Barron students,
Yeah.
and she's very lovely and very, very, very funny.
Yes.
And she plays Cynthia, and her character is very strong and very much wants to have a career. And she and Kyle together are just great. They're
Mhm.
matched very well.
Yeah. Vocally and personality wise, they're perfect together.
Mm-hmm.
So
Absolutely.
Well, I'm excited to see it. I'm going to see it tonight with my family.
Yeah.
So I'll be the one reviewing this show, and you guys will be able to read about it. So
oh damn.
Yeah.
Well, we can't wait to see you tonight, and
Great.
we can't wait to see you listeners if you come.
Please come
Please come.
and clap along and sing.
But get your tickets now.
yeah, you
because
have
they're
until October
selling-
1st.
They're selling really fast.
They're selling really well. The pre-sale is very good. I know that we had over 200 last night, which was
Mhm.
good for a
For an
premiere,
opening night,
for
yeah.
a preview, yeah. And I want to say that with the exception of some Saturdays, because Saturdays are typically a little slower, which I think is interesting.
Yeah.
We're already over 250 for most shows, and then the last show, as of 2 days ago, we had 90 tickets left.
Wow.
So that's exciting.
That is very.
That's really exciting.
Yeah. That's awesome. And Kate, where can we find you on social media and stuff like that?
Ooh, a lot of places. Personally, I mean, I don't really post a ton on my Instagram, just every now and then.
Yeah.
That's at Kato Pong. which,
Kato Pong.
God, is a whole other story of an insight into me. Nothing to do with cilantro. Don't worry. Yeah, I like I said, I post limitedly on there. Our new radio show is on Facebook.
Okay.
Ghostlight Musical Theater After Hours. Please go follow that. I'm on Facebook personally.
Yeah.
I have my business accounts I don't really use anymore. I don't have time. But yeah, and TikTok.
Yeah.
Find me on TikTok. Again, I post like once in a blue moon.
Okay, cool. And Brenna, your book came out
Yay!
last week, right?
It did.
You
Yeah.
want to talk about that a little bit before we wrap up?
Well, this isn't a book podcast.
I don't care. I
We
don't
can
care.
talk about it.
This is you. This is like you're part of this show, and that is you.
And I want you to
So-
teach me how to draw.
Yeah.
'Cause I can't.
So just
Right
that's-
now, it'll be really
that's-
great
It's gonna
podcast
take a
content.
while.
Yeah, I know. I need a lot of remedial help.
So my book Lights just came out. It's the third in a trilogy. the third and final, and well, obviously because Trilogy News 3. Okay. So it started with the book sheets and then delicates, now lights, and I'm having a signing at Werner Books on Saturday the 23rd from 11 to 1. And you should go, if not for me, to check out the new Werner Books location. It's just a couple doors down from their old location in the Liberty Plaza.
Oh,
I drove past the new one and it looks huge.
It's massive. They have a new cafe.
Ooh.
Lots of seating areas. Just go and chill and read. Shelves and shelves of books, more so than in their last location.
Yeah. I went to the current previous location the other day to pick up the book, and I didn't want to leave. So like having that cafe there is going to be so great.
Yeah, they have their new hours posted as of yesterday, and they're open late, I think, on Mondays and Wednesdays, like until 8 p.m.
Oh,
so
wow.
if you need a place to just go hang out with or meet with somebody,
Yeah.
Mhm.
that's a
Oh, that's
good
a great idea.
option.
Yeah.
And the owners, Lauren and Kyle, this is not sponsored by them. I just want
It's
to talk.
not.
I just want to talk about them because they're great.
I saw Kyle for a second the other day.
Yeah.
He had a big stack of books in his hands, so he was like, "Oh, hey, Ryan."
Yeah, they just moved all their stuff over Thursday and Friday from the old location. Go support Lauren and Kyle. They're awesome
They
people.
Really are. They really are.
I believe they sponsor the Dramashop book series.
They do.
They do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Uh-huh.
So they're good supporters of theater.
They
Oh
are.
yeah, they're big supporters of Dramashop specifically.
Yeah.
Yeah, so go support them and come out for the signing.
Yeah.
September 23rd, 11 to 1.
That's
Get-
so cool.
Get Brenna's autograph.
Yeah, I'll write something. I'll write my name
Teach
for
me
you
how to-
guys.
Teach me how to
Won't
draw
that be
a
so
ghost?
great?
Can I teach me how to draw a ghost?
Oh, I can do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're gonna do that now. And
Yeah, we're gonna take your time. Just listen to me draw.
just listen to Kate draw this ghost. I just want to thank you guys for joining us once again, and we love doing this podcast. We just want to bring the theater community together here in Erie, and
This is really great.
and
This has been a lot of fun.
and the 814 in general, and we're having a good time with this.
Yeah.
So go out and see some theater.
Yeah, support local theater and come see us in Beautiful.
Because you're beautiful. That's the Christina Aguilera song.
Just the way you are. Words won't bring you down.
Words
Okay.
can bring you down. It's the wrong one. If you come expecting the Christina Aguilera story, you're going to be very disappointed.
You really are. All right. Well, thanks, Kate.
Thank you.
And we will see you next week. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.